Pages, pictures, and panels, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sodium with my co-host Roach Boy Red.
Yo, yo.
Our co-host Phil couldn't join us today, but we are going to crack open some Skrulls. Saturday morning, Logan, what do you got for us?
Oh, man. So, Secret Invasion is definitely getting closer. We know it's scheduled for, December to the beginning of 2023. So, at that point, Skrulls are getting closer, and I think we should be keeping an eye out for who may or may not already be here as a Skrull impersonating one of our heroes or villains, for that matter. Uh, Skrulls are pretty much originally they were just generic alien invader types. They were shapeshifters introduced in the Fantastic Four books. But over the years, storylines like the Kree Skrull War and eventually Secret Invasion made Skrulls into like actual credible threats outside of the character Super Skrull, who he's a Skrull who was genetically modified to have all four powers of the Fantastic Four, along with his Skrull abilities. And like he was a pretty big Fantastic Four villain for a lot of their early years. I haven't read a lot of more recent Fantastic Four books. They definitely tarnished a lot of those characters as a whole. Like Reed became pretty villainous throughout the years and shit. So I kind of fell off on that. But Secret Invasion was one that I definitely enjoyed. But it was
Yeah.
pretty much we find out that for years, decades even, Skrulls have been impersonating certain heroes in the Marvel Universe, certain characters in the Marvel Universe. Uh, it starts off with like Elektra gets killed when she's with the Avengers and stuff, and when she dies on the autopsy table, she reverts back into a Skrull, and like that starts the whole question of what the fuck is happening? How is she a Skrull? Who else is a Skrull? And that's what kicks off Secret Invasion. Uh, some of these Skrulls were like, well, first off, I guess they get the memories of like the people they're impersonating so they can better impersonate them. And like some of these Skrulls got so invested into their portrayal of these people that like they began to forget that they themselves were the Skrull and started to actually think they're this person until like their Skrull higher calling calls them to action and then like they realize it. Essentially like a sleeper agent. But
Yeah.
but
Wow.
but the MCU was a lot different because like they perceived them kind of as victims in Captain Marvel, which is like their first like mainstream appearance. But
Yeah.
they end up refugees and stuff. But them working with the heroes and working with Nick Fury still to this day doesn't necessarily mean there aren't some sketchy Skrulls out there. So in the train fight in Captain Marvel, where they're fighting with all the Skrull, where she's fighting with all the Skrulls and stuff, one of the Skrulls actually escapes and just like disappears into the crowd, turns into a person, and is never seen again. So like even that like proposes the theory that like that Skrull himself could be a leader of some type of evil Skrull syndicate or sect, or like he could create an uprising because he technically would have never found out that like Captain Marvel and Shield and Nick Fury and them were all helping the Skrulls in the end. So he just
Mm-hmm.
still could be thinking that Captain Marvel and them are the villain when really she strayed from the Kree in the end. But
Yeah, that's a movie that I never really. Oh God, you just reminded me. That's a movie that I like watched, but I never really connected with. Like I said, like before, ladies and gentlemen, before we started the show today, I was telling my co-host that honestly, this is going to be another one of those episodes that I'm learning from him because this is something that I'm not super versed in. It's very recent for me, but it's also a part of something a lot bigger that I love. So I'm here to learn. Like, so feed me more.
but
Pause.
I'm glad to be here to be able to help people out with that, and that's why I'm here to do content, really. But
Mm-hmm.
at this point, we've already seen some people posing as Skrulls here. We have Nick Fury and Maria Hill being impersonated by Talos and his wife. So I guess that's a perfect segue into who do we think could be Skrulls in the MCU? Who might become a Skrull? Like who might get taken? Who is already a Skrull? What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna say, let's give it some thought. I'm going to say A. I want to say, well, when they die, does it automatically switch over to a scroll, or does it take some time?
It's not like a long-term thing, but it isn't like just instant. They don't just transform back right away.
Coulson. I want to first go Coulson. Who else? I want to
Oh wait,
go.
wait, before you get off Coulson, that's the first
Yeah,
person I had in my notes.
yeah.
Like I wish a Skrull was killed by Loki.
And Coulson's up there on that fucking space station with Cap.
And
How
Fury
cool would that be, bro?
and
If he
Fury's
finally,
there right now, man, lounging out and shit.
that's what I'm saying. What if they were up there the whole fucking time, just chilling? Cap's up there signing baseball cards and shit. That'd be dope. Who else though? The Red Skull. Red Skull. I'd like somehow to have a Red Skull return through him previously being a Skull. And if I could have a third pick, I would like to say Sharon Carter.
That's a good one. That's one that I've been suspecting. I guess since Falcon and Winter Soldier, like even before she was revealed as any kind of credible threat in the universe, uh,
Yeah.
she there was a reason she was showing up. Like they weren't just hiring her character to do nothing. Like she's not that
Uh,
fun on screen. She had to serve a purpose. And I think it could be not just that series, but set up for both our Armor Wars and Secret Invasion. And like either one of those would make sense. So I could see her being a Skrull.
my man Bucky fucking put a can of whoop ass on her in fucking Civil War in that room where
That's
he
a
choked.
fact. And like that always trips me out because like if Peggy can go toe to toe with Cap, why the fuck can't little Peggy go toe to toe with little Cap?
Man, but I know for a fucking fact he put that fucking jackhammer down in that ass. Put it. Shit.
But uh I guess for my thoughts for Skrulls, well the first one was in my on my list I did have Coulson as well, but
Yeah.
I got backup, so I'll give you three different ones. Uh my first one, Hank Pym. Hank Pym was such a big reveal in the comics. He was like alongside like Elektra and Spider Woman level reveals. And I think it wouldn't necessarily impact the dynamic of his or of the Avengers universe. It would impact Ant-Man. And that's cool. And not to mention Ant-Man 3 is coming up and like we thought Multiverse of Madness originally was going to be the culmination of all this multiversal events.
Yeah.
Based on a lot of the leaks with like Doctor Strange getting kidnapped by Kang as set up for Ant-Man 3 and stuff, it sounds like that is going to be the closing of the multiversal story. And
Probably.
from there, it would be interesting if Ant-Man 3 introduced the Secret Invasion aspect. Because like even if they led it to a post-credit scenes where Hank and Scott are talking or something, and then Hank walks out of the room or Scott walks out of the room and he turns back into a Skrull and then just turns back into Hank Pym or something. Something along those lines. It would be a nice lead in to let us know that like it's not just normal people and people willingly being transformed into Skrulls. Like like Skrulls are capturing people and taking their identities. It's not just Talos fucking helping Nick Fury anymore. But so that would be a cool one. I think Killmonger actually I would like to see be a Skrull so that they could bring him back in light of Chadwick Boseman's death and make his character not a scumbag. Every appearance we've had of the character, he has been absolute trash. He is such a fucking traitor. Uh, but yeah, I do not like that character, but it's the only role that I don't really like Michael B. Jordan in. So
Yeah,
I would like to see him come back and do justice to that role because Killmonger, even in the comics, is a straight up chooch. He is a asshole. And if everyone keeps campaigning for him to be Black Panther, I would be okay with that if they made a suitable change up. Like make this one fucking real him. He could not be all bitter about it. He could come. T'Challa's already dead, so he like doesn't have that beef. He would almost have like a sense of emptiness going back, and like he'd
yeah,
have to fulfill that hole that T'Challa left in Wakanda, and that would be such a noble story for the character. It would be a great way for people who we all know Killmonger and we all know him as scum, so it'd be a great redemption story essentially, without even needing one. Just be like, yeah, that dickhead was a Skrull. This is the real guy. Show him up in Black Panther 2 or 3. Perfect.
yeah.
But
Perfect.
and then my third one, actually, I didn't like pick a specific person. I was thinking this is going to be the perfect setup for a character who hasn't been introduced yet to be introduced as the hero human character at the beginning of the series, and then later in the series be revealed as a Skrull. Like, my first thought would be Spider Woman. They would introduce her as like an agent or something. She'd be helping the heroes, and then like halfway through, it's revealed that she's a Skrull, similar
Yeah,
to like the Electro reveal in fucking Secret Invasion. Because in my mind, it always struck me as weird that Elektra was even down to join up with the Avengers and stuff. But
yeah,
she did, and in retrospect, it makes sense because it wasn't really Elektra. But
yeah, yeah,
so that would be cool in terms of Spider Woman. Also, I was thinking it would be a perfect introduction to the character Hulkling. He's one of the young Avengers. He's actually Captain Marvel's son. He's his like illegitimate bastard kid with the Queen of the Skrulls. He's half Kree, half Skrull, and like I think it can't be Marvel's kid because Marvel's a fucking chick, unless it'd be her kid with Talos. But Talos is a comic relief character. Ben Mendelsohn playing him makes him a comic relief character in my mind. And
yeah.
I just don't think I it doesn't fit the tone of what the Young Avengers they've set up in other series is. That's my thought. So it would
Right.
be fitting if like he is just a Skrull who's in hiding and doesn't want to be part of it. Uh, I think that'd be a nice way to set up. He's the last young Avenger, so it'd be a nice way to set up his introduction. Last member of the team. By the end of the Marvels, Secret Invasion, all these Skrull-based series, we have our Young Avengers announcement or reveal. I've been waiting for that movie. Haley Steinfeld, I can't wait to see her on screen again. I loved her as Kate Bishop. It was a great time. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to see like a grown-up Wiccan and Speed. Both powers are really cool. The Speed hasn't been used in the MCU well enough yet, so it would be nice for that to happen. They'd have ties to Quicksilver as well, so it would be cool if they bring over Evan Peters from Fox. That's what those kids know Pietro to look like. They don't know Aaron Taylor Johnson.
At
So
all.
it would be no change for them. It would be like getting right back to the pace of things like they wanted. Or like we
Yep.
want. And that would be awesome. But
Yep.
so my last topic in regards to like who do we think are Skrulls is a hopeful choice for something to fix a plot hole that you didn't enjoy or felt wrong in the MCU.
Um, Mainly for me, the Red Skull departure. Like I think it fit the story for then, but honestly, I think it would be cool to see now. And I think that Sam is going to need some cool villains going forward. And we didn't really get that much of a Red Skull versus Captain America arc. I really think that it could be dope and beneficial to bring him back. Another one. I mean, I doubt it because they did the whole computer thing, but Arnim Zola. I
I
want
love
Zola.
Arnim Zola so much, bro. He's such a good villain.
Yeah, I think Zola's awesome. I think that'd be dope if Zola came back. And last but not least,
It's a tough choice, isn't it?
definitely is. And I almost want to say like, and this is gonna sound very selfish because again, like I'm a Captain America stan, but Steve Rogers, but only from a certain point, like the end of Endgame or something.
For
Like I
real,
still,
like I want everything he's done in the MCU to be him, but the one that went back in time, make that one a fucking scroll.
yeah, exactly. And Steve really is up there on the moon, just hanging out, like living his life, or he's back in time. I don't know. He's somewhere accessible that like we can have him back if we really need him back. Like that's what I want. But
I really
uh,
just, yeah, I want Steve Rogers back somehow.
those
But
are my picks for.
but I actually only had one. Uh, it's not even like a plot hole or an issue that like the movies have. It's just an issue I have with a movie. Uh,
Yeah,
I wish fucking Bruce Banner sometime after becoming Smart Hawk or sometime before becoming Smart Hawk was a Skrull because I hated Smart Hawk. I would love if that was retconned to just not be Bruce Banner.
yeah. I didn't really like Smart Hulk either. I'm not. I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of the character. I didn't like that he had clothes on. I didn't like the whole like wearing a fucking satchel.
Yeah, he
Um,
was weird. I didn't like him, like his corny talking to the kids and stuff. Like it was the cringiest bullshit.
yeah,
Yeah, like what the fuck, bro? Uh,
dab of cyanide.
facts. But yeah. So the I we definitely I think came up with some good choices for people to be imposters in the Marvel universe. I can't wait to see the upcoming reveals of these characters because I'm sure before months before Secret Invasion, we're gonna start getting these reveals closer
Yeah,
and closer together. And I'm excited to see who they use as like the Spider Woman Elektra Hank Pym character role that's like that giant dynamic reveal that fucking
yeah,
flips the MCU on its head.
yeah.
Uh, I think after Doctor Strange and stuff, it's gonna be a little tame again. I think it's gonna go back to like we're gonna be on earthly levels for a few movies, or at least space, and not the fucking outside of the universe constantly and shit. But
Yeah,
and I think right when we get comfortable in that downtime is when we're gonna get that big fucking snap of a result or of a reveal. And
you
I could see it potentially being as soon as Thor: Love and Thunder, honestly.
could be very interesting, bro.
But and then our last topic for this episode actually is talking about Super Skrulls. I know we talked about the character, the Super Skrull earlier, but
Yeah,
he was the original and he was the only one for a good like 50 years maybe. But during Secret Invasion, they revealed that there were others like him. He has all the powers of the Fantastic Four, but some of the other Super Skrulls they introduced had like powers of various Avengers or powers of various X-Men. And
yeah,
well, the Fantastic Four and the X-Men are not an option yet, as per the lineup at least. Like unless we get mutants in something that isn't a mutant production and they're relevant, I don't think it would be a good idea for the Skrulls to copy the X-Men's powers. Fantastic
right,
Four, same thing, but that's sooner than X-Men, so who knows? We might get Super Skrull in like Captain Marvel 2 or something. But
right.
but so that begs the question though, like what power set or like what group of heroes in the MCU do you think would be a good basis for a Super Skrull introduction before the Fantastic Four? Uh,
The, sorry, didn't mean to jump the gun there, but it just came right off the top of my head.
what?
The Eternals.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was one of the ones I had on my list actually. I put Eternals or Inhumans because the
Yeah,
Inhumans have a wild power set. They are vastly different, just like the Eternals. And
yeah,
I wasn't sure how like the anatomy of an Eternal worked, if they could be copied by a Skrull or not. So I didn't want to fucking be left with that thought in my head. I just had to clump those together for that. But
Right, right.
and
Uh,
I was thinking based on our talk or about me like saying how they could introduce him in Captain Marvel 2, the Marvels. It's gonna have Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala Khan.
yeah.
That that would be a good power set to give the Super Skrull. Those three, because Kamala
Mm,
Khan would give him like the Mister Fantastic-y aspect. Uh,
yeah.
Monica Rambeau is essentially energy manipulation of all kinds, and Danvers is a fucking walking infinity stone. So like
Yeah.
it would replicate Reed, Johnny, and fucking Sue. He doesn't really need the replication of Ben, that just makes him rocky and tough, but
Not necessarily.
it does enhance him with the thing strength and stuff. But
He gets though.
yeah, but Danvers has way more strength than the thing, so like she wouldn't need that, or he wouldn't need that.
Omnipotent.
And then another idea I had, well, the last idea I had was the Guardians of the Galaxy. Could you imagine, like, instead of the thing incorporated into this villain, Groot? This man has fucking, what is it? Uh,
Tree arms.
Botanokinesis or whatever. I don't know what it's called. Oh, fluorokinesis. That's what it is. Fluorokinesis. But,
Mm,
manipulation of plants. He could potentially Star-Lord genetically is still a celestial hybrid. He still has that within him. The Skrull could tap into that. Uh,
yeah.
the strength and like skill and dexterity and prowess of Gamora or Drax. Rocket's
Yeah.
fucking weird genetic modifications into his body to make him more intelligent.
Yeah. That shit would be a super being. That actually could be very interesting.
And
And
that
I heard see them anymore, so that could be cool to still keep their power set and personalities kind of around, maybe.
yeah, and like I think it would be cool to introduce potentially Super Skrull in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We don't know who the villain is yet. So like it's in my mind it's going to be either Adam Warlock's other personality, the Magus or Magus, whatever, I don't know. But or it could be Super Skrull with that power set. That would be a nice introduction. We've seen the Skrulls, so it'd be
Yeah.
nice to get it would be the same comic progression. Skrulls, Super Skrull, Secret Invasion. Like they make this genetic being to be able to beat the humans, and they can't even get to Earth because the Guardians stop them. It would be
Yeah.
like that final straw for them to be like, "Fuck, we need to think of something different from our normal invading warpath." Boom. Then they start
Yeah.
invading discreetly.
Yeah. Secret invasion. And there you go. It writes itself.
But yeah, so at this point, we got to look at every little thing these characters do. Skrulls can be out there. Skrulls can be anywhere. Hell, for all we know, either of us could be Skrulls. But
Very true. Guilty.
but yeah, man. So that's pretty much all of the content I have on Skrulls today. Uh, I yet again have gotten backed up with a lot of different work for Studio 5 Star and Pages, Panels, and Pictures. I'm dropping that Moon Knight episode as soon as possible. I'm not going to say I'm going to do it today just in case, but I'm going to try my hardest to get that out as soon as I can. Uh,
Awesome.
Other than that, you can follow me on Instagram at Roach the Boy Wonder. I give updates on this channel and I give updates on like my artwork and Studio 5 Star as well. So stay posted on there for further updates on everything.
Awesome. 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 And well, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, this has been Pages, Pictures, and Panels. I'm your host, Till the End, with my co-host, Roach Boy Red. I believe he's over here.
This side.
Oh, this side? This side?
Other
This
way.
side.
That side. Yeah. Yeah.
He's over here. Peace.
See you guys.